Mr. Warp, set off Alpha 4-2.
Aye, sir. Star Trek: The Next Generation Behind the Scenes is proudly brought to you by OS2 Warp from IBM.
Where will you be in the 24th century?
Space, the final frontier.
Come explore the worlds above and beyond as E goes inside Star Trek.
Fascinating.
Hi, I'm Michael Kastner, and this is E's 60-minute look inside Star Trek. I suppose your first clue was this really cool-looking little emblem. It's the new uniform. What do you think? We're trying them out here. The original Star Trek series left the air in 1969. In the 80s, the first 4 of 6 Star Trek feature films grossed more than $345 million, and that was just in the U.S. But even that wasn't enough to guarantee the saga another shot at television. It wasn't until 1987 that Star Trek: The Next Generation had its debut. Turns out beaming Star Trek back onto the small screen was a stroke of programming genius. Star Trek: The Next Generation consistently rates among the top 10-hour series on television and holds the #1 spot for syndicated drama. So sit tight. We're going to transport you to where it all happens, the bridge of the Starship Enterprise. Here it is, the bridge of the Starship Enterprise, home to Star Trek: The Next Generation.
There's a certain mystique about being on the bridge, and I've seen it when friends of mine who are true fans come onto the bridge. There's a certain aura, and it's quite nice, actually.
Here's what it looks like with all hands on board on shooting day.
Please.
And here's the man in the captain's chair, Jean-Luc Picard.
A Renaissance man, I think is a wonderful description of him, and he has grown into that in the course of these 7 years. A Renaissance man meaning what? A man of politics, of leadership, of culture, of education, of good taste.
Somewhere in there, give it a little extra beat. This sequence here that we're shooting now comes fairly close to the top of the show, and it's just kind of setting the stage for the events that follow. If you notice, our coverage is fairly simple on the bridge because we want the show to start with a little bit of a slow pace, and then as the adventure increases, we pick up the pace and we do a lot more shots so we can cut faster and get a lot of different angles. But here we keep it kind of slow and easy so that by contrast, the other part looks more exciting.
Cut. Good. How about you, Chris?
Okay, that's a great new deal, folks.
Playing around. It's all work here. All work.
Look at this. $35.95. Send your checks and money orders. Brent Spiner, Paramount Pictures. For your own padded apple box. Need another take?
Brent Spiner plays the role of Lieutenant Commander Data.
He's exactly what you think he is. He's Data, the lovable android, who is naive and childlike and super strong and super intelligent and just a genuinely nice character to play.
What was that line about this? About what? Rise. That makes me feel much better. Yeah.
The episode shooting today revolves around LeVar Burton's character, Lieutenant Geordi LaForge. Burton has directed some shows, so he pays close attention to every detail of his performance.
I just wanted to fix something in one of the speeches there about her being a starship captain.
Okay. All right.
Choose up. We're going again.
Settle, please. And action.
Am I crazy to think she's still alive? This is the first time in the over 6 years that we've been doing the show that we meet anyone from Geordi's past, and we finally meet his family, his mother and his father. There is a tragedy, there's an accident that happens, and one of my parents is believed dead. You guys weren't supposed to be here for that.
You don't have all of it here.
No.
I don't
I
think
feel
you
bad
have
about
the previous
myself.
shot.
I think I'll be depressed for the rest of the day.
You want on the line in the seated position, then rise,
I've allowed you
or
to
take him up and then let him exit.
to see the secret.
But why shouldn't we grant them asylum?
We can't do that.
We've been concentrating on the guys, but women have made it into the 24th century, too. They just haven't come as far as some might have hoped.
There is still an element that the men are the stronger sex, and that's a shame. That's a shame. But then you also have to remember that although we're doing a show that's based in the 24th century, we're shooting it in the 20th century, and television is a mirror to society. If we go too far in Star Trek, it's not going to be accepted by the people now.
The society is genetically integrated. Suddenly there would be gaps, missing pieces.
There have been many times where I've thought, this is ridiculously sexist. But then I also see what an impact it has in a very positive way already. And that what Gene Roddenberry and the producers and writers have put together are actually very admirable female characters.
Will your nervous system be able to handle that much sensory input?
The Next Generation has dealt with all kinds of social issues during its 6 seasons on the air. The producers' willingness to address them is in large part responsible for the show's popularity.
I think there's a certain awareness of the need to address sexism and racism and equality. I think if we should be so lucky as to abide by the Prime Directive, it'd be a better place to live.
I reviewed the vessel's mission plans. The Raman was to descend to the lowest atmosphere, 11,000 kilometers below its current position. The crew was to sample the atmosphere at that level and then return to a higher orbit.
All of the actors on The Next Generation come from a theater background. This training is especially handy when it comes to getting their lines out right.
It's helpful, I think, because the language is heightened. It's not your everyday conversation. I've always felt that Star Trek, the style of it was kind of a cross between Shakespeare and, you know, flying around the house with a towel around your neck, you know, pretending you're Superman. I mean, it's sort of the balance of the two.
It's a balancing act Star Trek The Next Generation pulls off with great ease.
Send it directly to the aft section of the Raman, to the secondary airlock. That will put it just one bulkhead away from the bridge.
I'll interface with the probe as soon as it's in place, and then take it the rest of the way from there.
Make it so.
Now, despite the long hours of makeup, rehearsal, and actual shooting, this is a group who really likes coming to work. Even so, everyone needs some time away for a little R&R, and for some cast members, life off the set is as much fun as their day job.
Clark. Settle, please. And action.
On the set of The Next Generation, actor Michael Dorn plays Lieutenant Worf, a powerful Klingon warrior who is the first of his race to serve on a Starfleet vessel.
I think he's very cool. I think he's very cool. I think he has a lot of what we all would like to be. And I mean, he really is. His emotions are out there.
When he's not on the Starship Enterprise, Dorn is into his own kind of space.
Jets. Well, actually, I have it's an experimental 60s era jet called the Casa jet that I've been flying, and but at every opportunity I have, I go to some of the air bases, Air Force bases and Navy bases, and fly what they have.
That's right, this guy's a pilot, and he's got the pictures to prove it.
The helmet and the flight suit is all part of the thing. It helps you fly better, to be dressed correctly. In fact, I probably should get you a shot of my flying boots also. That way, I just got in the mail. A lot of people can look at our show as reality and really get into it, and that's good. That's very good. We want them to be, to think of it as, as real as possible, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to portray these characters as real as possible. So, but, my hobby is more reality than out there in space and things.
We'll leave Michael to enjoy his day off and head back to the set of Star Trek The Next Generation, where actor Ben Vereen is living a dream come true. Longtime fan Vereen is establishing the role of Dr. LaForge, father to LeVar Burton's character, Geordi.
I got the world on the string.
Guest appearances are a series trademark, and it's hard to tell who's more excited about the visit, the crew or the celebrity Trekker.
I was dreaming of this, and a couple of weeks ago, my manager called and said, they'd like for you to come out and play LeVar's father. And it didn't hit me right away. And I was doing the show, Jelly's Last Jam on Broadway. And all of a sudden, I was walking backstage behind, and the show was going on, and it dawned on me what she had said, and I screamed. I screamed, and meanwhile, Brian Mitchell, who plays the part of Jelly, was on stage, and he was with the background going, yeah! All right! As many times as you like, man. Okay, let's do it again.
This is a victory, sir.
Who better is it?
Okay.
Make up face.
Vereen's presence on the set is a real thrill for LeVar Burton. He idolized the versatile Vereen long before they met on the set of the acclaimed miniseries Roots.
Ben is a major part of why I got into this business. I mean, when I was a junior in high school, I traveled across country from California to New York, and the main purpose of the trip for me was to see him at the Imperial Theater in Pippin, and I waited 2 hours at the backstage door for him to come down, and I got a picture, and I had him sign my program, and, you know, and then years later, when we both did Roots, I had an opportunity to show him that picture, and, you know, and so our history has been an intense one, and we've never worked together before.
Settle, please. And action.
How are you, Dad?
As well as can be expected under the circumstances.
We talk about the fact of being in the 24th century together.
But your sister and
And the consciousness of that and what it means to the planet.
Starfleet is considering the Hera lost. The search isn't much more than a formality at this point.
That's the one thing I love about the show. Because when you think about Star Trek, there is no barriers as far as racial barriers, as far as consciousness barriers. You know, it's about beyond the scope of our our perception of where life is today.
All right, Jordy. Call me if you need anything.
Very nice.
Cut.
Great.
Yep.
Okay.
Is that it?
That's it?
That's it?
You came here for that?
I came here for that. He came here to establish a character, is what he did. Yes, I did.
It's always cool when your friends can come and play with you on your job.
Oh, man. This is... thank you.
You know what was real special? Receiving my itinerary, and at the bottom it says, "Welcome to the 24th century."
And the 24th century is just where I'll be going later on in the show. But coming up, we're traveling to the farthest edge of the galaxy. That's right, we're going to Star Trek Deep Space Nine, so hold on through this commercial break.